delayed due to unforeseen circumstances. We have a very interesting panel. One of the focus areas at GDAI, which is the Game Developers Association of India, is to really focus on how if we need to develop an industry, then incubation needs a large part of the focus. So we have a couple of roundtables now. Chimera is launching something after this, along with Google and Mixi and Nazara. But this first panel is called From Ideas to Industry, the Roadmap for Game Incubation in India. And I'd like to introduce the panelists for this. We have Aneesha Dhar from Google, Sato from Ludimus, Amit Purohit from Primus Partners, and Anuj Sahani from Krafton. Please cheer for us. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. I'll just make a quick round of introductions, everybody, and then we'll start off, starting with you, Aneesha, and then we'll go.
Thank you, everyone. So good to be here and so good to see all of you. I am Aneesha. I head the Play ecosystem, Google Play ecosystem for India, and very excited to be here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anuj Sahani. I head the Krafton India Gaming Incubator. I have been in game development for last 18 years and so.
Okay. Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Sato. I'm the chairperson at the IGDA Incubation SIG. IGDA Incubation SIG is a group of the gaming incubators and work accelerators in the various countries around the world. And then currently we have 120 leaders from various gaming incubator accelerators in the 62 countries, including India.
Can everyone hear me? Good morning. Morning, afternoon, Vanakkam. What's the right way?
It's the right way, Vanakkam.
Good, good. My name is Amit Purohit. I'm a senior vice president with Primus Partners. We run incubators, we consult central and state governments, and we look forward to having a more engageful conversation with all of you.
Yeah, so to start off with, what makes an incubation program industry grade for games in India? Anuj? You're one of the earliest starters in terms of actually having a company focused on incubation, and what is it?
Yeah, see, from our perspective, the core of any incubation is a mentorship program which we offer. And at start, we need to understand what are the strengths and weaknesses of any team, and then assign mentors accordingly to the team so that mentors and teams can work together and fill the gaps which the current team has. And if you are offering a mentorship program which is common for all the teams, same program for all the teams, doesn't work that way. Probably the core of incubation, since the mentorship is the core, we should focus more on providing hands-on mentorship to the teams and based on teams' requirement. And I feel if a program is offering that, it will be a good program to join or have a successful program. Okay.
Shosan,
yes.
What are your points and what makes it industry grade, and what are your experience been like?
Yeah, of course, mentorship, the system is a kind of essential part of the game incubation program in anywhere in the world. And in my opinion, besides mentorship, it's also important to one of the most important role for the game incubator is to connect the stakeholder. The connected stakeholder, including the educational institute, government, or of course a mentor and or a platform or some other partners, especially for a game publisher or the game investor. And then the connecting with a game publisher and investor is quite important in the countries like India. So that's why you have a publisher investor connect in here, right? And then I also see the same. Right? And then I also see in some other parts of the world. So then I can see that such connecting stakeholders from the various perspectives could be a quite important factor for incubator. Yeah.
Thank you. Mentorship, I think, is an integral part. But Aneesha, to you, what are the checkpoints? Idea, is it an idea? Is it a vertical slice? Is it like a soft launch scale? What is it that will really, what unlocks it each to the incubation, and how do you think the mentorship will play a role in this as well?
Thanks, Mac. I think it totally depends on the kind of team you have on board, right? Uh, I think these things, these checkpoints kind of come in later. But for me, it's really, really important to see, you know, how much skin in the game do the founders have actually? What are the things that they're looking at? Does it match with the ethos and the values that, you know, we build in as a part of the incubator? And typically at Google, what we do is we run a bunch of programs. We run something called as an Indie Game Accelerator, which is a global program, and we've been supporting a lot of gaming startups there. We also run an app accelerator. Again, these are different stages of startups, right? Like from pre-series to seed A, and then we match it to the kind of mentorship that we want to provide, given what what do they really need, right? So there are some startups where we help them with monetization and just providing them mentorship there. There's some startups where we're doing a bunch of stuff on AI and building prototypes with them. So I think it totally depends on what the need of the startup is, how excited the founders are about building with Google, and from there on, right? I mean, we go full out. For example, the accelerator that we have is like a 3-month-long program where we actually bring all of Google together. So these 3 months, we help them, you know, grow on Play Store, monetize. We help them with mentorship on all stuff on AI. So again, right, like it depends. What do they really need, and where do we feel that we can pitch in and be really helpful?
Anuj, you've managed to discover a lot of studios from across India. And what is that process like? I mean, for people to understand, if you're going to Krafton, and if it applied to the Krafton India Gaming Incubator, what is the discoverability like of studios from across India? And how do they make the cut really? Because we've seen studios from Madurai, for example, in Tamil Nadu. We've seen a super studio from Nagaland. And we've seen outliers from different parts of town. So what is that discoverability like? And what are those standards like?
Sure. See, normally we look at studios at early stage of development. And what we look at is the idea and the prototype. We want to understand what concept or vision the team has, what kind of game they want to build, whether they understand the market and competition, and then how they are able to replicate that in a form of a prototype and a playable version, whether it is fun to play or not. So these are the things which we look at early on, and along with that, we also look at team's vision, perspective, what their thought process is, what they want to do in next 5 years, what they have been doing in the past, and whether they understand what they are getting into, what their gaps are, and how Krafton can come in and help them out. See, our program is a year-long program. It goes for a year, and there is a financial support also associated with it, which is milestone-based. So normally when we incubate at the prototype stage, we work with them throughout the stage of vertical slice, and we identify that. So what is vertical slice? Is a piece of a project, basically, where it's a product which can be tested with users and verified. So we do user testing at the vertical slice stage and understand whether there's a demand by the users or not for the game the developer is building or the team is building. And once we cross that stage, we go towards the soft launch. And then we identify, we get the feedback, we check the initial metrics, and soft launch period is normally during the program is for 3 to 6 months, which goes along. And then there are different phases. Early phase, we check the retention numbers, and then we check the monetization numbers. And at the end, it comes down to a stage where they're ready to raise funds or find a publisher for the project. So that's the overall stage which goes in.
Sure, sir. We've heard the Indian version. We've also heard the global version from Google. But you as the special interest group and heading it globally for game developers, I'm sure you see various geographies and various different ways of looking at things, right? The culture is different. The talent is different. So how do you all manage it at an IGDA level?
Yeah, actually, as a IGDA is like a global association for the game developers around the world, and then actually as a IGDA incubation SHIG, we saw a lot of incubation in supporting the different stages, from some pre-incubator working with the educational institute to the late stage accelerator, which supports how can I say the bigger how can I say the post seed startups and so on, and then in my opinion, I saw that we need how can I say the incubator in the old stage or the old regional game incubator or something, and then actually because incubator should work with sometimes local game developers community in order to like how can I say, make a mutual communication. This is quite important because as you have start the incubator and working for like 3 or 5 years, according to my observation for the various game incubator, they how can I say that. They have like a kind of bigger alumni community, and then this alumni community is very important. For example, when I look at like one game incubator in the Europe, they are working for like 20 years, and then after 20 years, some game developer even become an investor or publisher, and then like they can also become like a public service, and some other like a new like a stakeholder who knows 100% about the incubation program. So then they could be a really big supporter. So then that's why, yeah, in my opinion, working, how can I say, more and more cohort for each incubator is yeah, quite important factor. Yeah.
Amit, we've heard from the private players almost, or the not-for-profit. But as a government, at the center and state levels now, with the AVGC policy, the Creative India Economy, Waves Accelerator Program, for example, or the Waves Bazaar, we're starting to see a lot of governments focus a lot more on this. What has your experience been of working with various state governments, and what is the focus really in gaming? Because I think sometimes it gets lost in this whole AVGC thing, and animation, visual effects, gaming, and comics ideally should be looked at differently. And what is your thought process on that?
So I think piggybanking on the Honorable Prime Minister's vision that towards Viksit Bharat and MOIB's contribution for this whole Waves ecosystem that they've created, a lot of states have actually taken off from that. And whether the Western Hindu heartland or the Southland, they've been flushed with a lot of money, right? Within the state itself, and of course, central government support has come in. Now what happens with that is, it has also taken time by states to actually understand what this creative economy is, right? And you're right, that G gets lost in the AVC, G, and you forgot the XR part, right? But I think that's slowly changing. Why? Because I think in the gaming fraternity and the gaming industry, it's easier to show tangible results, quicker results, faster results. Secondly, it supports in this whole vision of creating IPs, and more importantly, from a public sector government perspective, creates faster jobs. So the focus, as a result, seems to now moving towards gaming. And of course, now the mandate on gaming is very clear, right? So the lines have been drawn. So keeping that in mind, I think there's a lot more to achieve. Sky's the limit. And I think with this whole advent, a lot of decision makers in the government are also getting educated. What they need to do, how they need to do. Krafton, agencies like Google are helping really well, working with them, trying to educate them as well, so that more and more collaborations happen, more and more partnerships, so that more and more tangible impact can come out. And of course, central government, state governments working in collaboration is only adding 1 and 1, 11.
That's good. But also, like, you just can't do incubators without talent development, right? I mean, skilling needs to be a large part of the focus. And I'm back to you again. What is the focus been on skilling really in the AVGC policies that are coming out? Because what we've seen is we do not have enough high caliber institutes that focus on game development in India. I mean, we have a few and they've really been working very hard. But if you see the engineering or the IT industry in India, the IITs had some kind of a ripple effect, right? I mean, back in the days, 40, 50 years ago, you had IITs and NITs, and that created a mushrooming of engineering colleges and the computer and IT talent in India. What can be done for gaming, and what is the focus on that really?
So I think the first step was the formation of the IICT. So that is going to be the foundation institute which will help navigate that ecosystem, help build that ecosystem. Secondly, states have also started spending more time on establishing their design schools, whether you look at Telangana, you look at Rajasthan, Maharashtra, MP, they're all now focusing very aggressively on setting up their design schools. Now the problem is, they've got the mandate, they've got the funds. It's just, we need the right set of partnerships. So we're looking at IICT, we're looking at GDAI, Google, Krafton to come out and say, okay, let's collaborate. Because I think there are two parts to this conversation. One part is, of course, the financial involvement required to set up something like this, to make it sustainable. The other, which, by the way, comes in from the government. right? The second part is the expertise, the mentors, the skill set, the knowledge, the know-how on how to run it, create more talent base, and then provide them the opportunity to take that jump. So I think it's just about time. We're right there, the cusp, just right there. I think a lot of states, we advise almost 15, 16 states, and we see a transactional change happening, huge change, where more and more gaming communities come up. States like, you'll be surprised, I was in Bhopal a couple of weeks back, a massive gaming community in Bhopal. You guys have been pivoting that MP chapter of yours very, very well. Yeah. States like, the other day I was in, which state was it? Uttarakhand. Massive gaming community coming up. I think it's just a matter of amalgamating all these things into one common platform and navigating that. But I think more and more state governments are getting more and more aware. I think the fundamental change of skilling in the mindset of an administrator is also changing. It's not your conventional plumber, electrician also. There is this high value IP creation skilling that's required. And I think most states are now looking at that very, very positively and aggressively.
I'll quickly add in there, right? Like there are a bunch of things that our state and central governments are doing and really, really working towards building that community, right? But I think as industry, all of us have been doing our bit as well. So at Google, at least, we run this program called Google Unity Program. It's our first year in India, and GDAI has been a great partner there. We have launched the program in Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. We've been running this program in Indonesia for the last 3 years. We brought it to India this year purely, given the warming up of the gaming ecosystem here, the strong need for upskilling. And we actually had our first offline event at IGDC yesterday. And what talent, right? Like, it's amazing. And I just asked the group that, can I see a show of hands of how many of you already work on Unity platforms? Almost 95% of the audience. So I think we are brilliant coders. We do a great job of that. I think where we really, really need to kind of build a muscle is the design, and the ecosystem is kind of coming together to do that, right? And we also see that, again, as I said, we do a really good job of building the codes, but the AAA formats and the other things, right? That's where we really, really need to build a muscle. So that's one part of it, right? Where you help with skilling through programs. The other is, again, something that we did last year. There's this partner that we have. It's called Dashtoon. It basically makes webtoons, and they have a very large audience in Korea. And Google kind of facilitated an MOU between them and the Korean gaming industry to help them get access to a lot of other things. So while one is completely community-led, but if we also see that there's a sector that is upcoming and booming, and we could really, really help a startup, we would go all the way.
Nice. Segue from that, Anuj, is when a startup is to scale and mentorship plays a part, what are the kind of help an incubator, what is an incubator's real achievement? What are those metrics like? What are the achievement metrics for an incubator?
Yeah, definitely. See, different incubators have different objectives, and they work towards that. For us right now, it's to build a gaming ecosystem here in India and to have a lot more successful startups from India. We are not just focusing on achieving 1 or 2 successful games. We are focusing on growing the ecosystem. So we want to have a lot more startups who have a lot more successful games. They might not be a AAA on the first go, but the objective is that in upcoming years, they're able to build those games. So that's why when we provide mentorship, it's not just on building the game, it's also on how to build a startup culture, how to build teams, how to do hiring, how to do monetization in the game, how to scale the game, how to grow the game. There are a lot of things which goes into game. Like I always say that game development is piece of a puzzle. It's not the complete system. Because after making the game, you need to grow the game, you need to do n number of things. And that's what we try to achieve and we try to teach the team. So overall, the objective or the goal is to build the ecosystem, not just 1 or 2 successful games from the incubation program.
Nice. Building the ecosystem, Shosan. For a country like India, 1.4 billion people, right? And for a country of India of 1.4 billion people, we need more opportunities for a population that's at 75%, I mean, less than 35, to, like what we're talking about, skilling, opportunities for entrepreneurship. How can we as a country, you think, scale up our incubation program and make it far more wide-reaching? Because now, like, after this, there's going to be another announcement of somebody starting incubators. There's Krafton. Of course, Sony India has come up with something. STPI and the government of India has Image, which has been running successfully in Kalengada. They also have the Octave program in the Northeast. Now with WaveX Accelerator, they're trying to scale it up. But we need more programs. And what do you think? I mean, you've traveled the length and breadth of the country, and probably more than all of us, right? So what do you think a country like India needs from a incubation focus perspective to make it far wide-reaching?
Yeah, actually, of course, how can I say that? I think two things or the three things related to the in order to make the incubation program more supportive to the creative talent in India. And then the one thing is a mutual exchange of the information or exchange talent, exchange exchanging talents or exchange mentors. So the various different incubators, especially from India incubator with an incubator in other continents. Because interestingly, I saw that incubator in each continent has its own a different mindset sometimes, and a different system, different really good mentors. And then I sometimes saw the really good, how can I say, the collaboration, for example, between the Eastern Asian game incubator and the European game incubator. And I also see the similar case in the Latin American game incubator and the European game incubator as well. So then such a international collaboration is could be a good key to support more talent, because you know that especially for the someone like PC and both PC and mobile game market, even for the XR, it's quite important to, how can I say, get a market outside India, right? Of course, India is also a good big market, but you also need to work for American market, Chinese market, Japanese market, European market. So then in order to address the market, it's better to connect with local people there, right? So then in this case, such a international collaboration does work well in the development side and the business side. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think what is required, I think, is while there are multiple poster boys now, I'm sorry, being gender correct, poster people, poster founders is the right word, gamers, for being politically correct here. I think what you now require is to actually come out. Now is the time where, as a community, as an industry, you guys need to collectively come out and present that unified image and actually set the industry standard, right? Because it's a more viral. So, for example, startups became very popular because of these whole success stories that came out, right? And I think right now is the time where GDAI as a body with industry and this whole collaborative environment that you guys have created, of course with MOIB supporting, is to actually come out and present those poster boys and make those things aspirational. Get it out there. That's the first step. Second, actually one of the most common problems I've seen in my travels pertaining to incubators is there is no paucity of funds. Central and state governments do not have paucity of funds. That paucity, the concept of paucity is a myth. There's a myth. There is no paucity of funds. It's just the fact that it's a little time-consuming process, and there are some checks and balances. Startup India has a massive amount of fund to give to incubators to be passed on to gaming community. How many people actually know about it? I think secondly, one thing which I would like GDAI to take up, hopefully, and hopefully we will be discussing about it, is for GDAI to actually bring in a consolidated view of all the gaming benefits available across the nation and all the list of various incubators and their sort of a incubator ranking sort of a model somewhere to actually allow these gaming community to know what's happening in which state. So today, there may be a massive investment done by a state like Maharashtra or Rajasthan on this gaming, AI and everything, which probably people will not know about it. So amalgamation of information and decimation, I think, is something which can change, and it's very easy to do.
Point taken, Amit. So quickly to end, before you end, Anuj, how does, Aneesha, how do people really get to know about these programs? Discoverability is what Amit spoke about, but how do people get to know about these programs, and what do they need to really follow? Like, there are a lot of young developers here who probably want to become entrepreneurs and be incubated, get the right knowledge. Where to discover these things that you guys are doing?
See, all of us have our own mechanisms to kind of do this, right? And they're basically only discovered through the communities that we have. At least when I talk about us as Google, we have these communities called GDGs. There is Google developer handles. We have a massive, massive developer community. And if I only talk about the gaming community, right, it's about 2,000 to 3,000 gamers in India. And it's led by Ollie from Bombay Play, but Google supports that community in a big way. We do a bunch of things on women in gaming, Mac, you and us. So the idea is that, it's out there, and you need to follow the developer groups. The news will be on that. And, in fact, when we were launching our Unity offline event yesterday, the event was over and somebody came up to me and said that, oh, can I register for this now? And I'm like, sorry, we announced this program 3 months back. And it just made me realize that all of us probably need to just probably do a better job of spreading the news out there, letting people know that there's something like this that exists. This year, for example, we only worked with Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, right? So we were restricted by the kind of announcements we were making. But yeah, I think communities play a massive, massive role, and associations like you, developer handles, influencers, I think that's how the word kind of gets out.
For us, mainly, please follow our social media pages, Krafton India. And also, we have a lovely website for our incubation program that's called Krafton India Gaming Incubator. There's a very simple form to fill in. You can go through the form and fill the application, and we'll get the details. And for us, the process opens year-long. It's not that we open for a window. We still accept applications throughout the year. So it's open all.
So closing comments. What is the target that India as a nation needs to have to achieve through our incubation program in terms of how many startups, like numbers, or what's the vision for India as a nation from an incubation perspective?
I think I would love to see more Indian IP, honestly. We keep saying that, India is a country of players and not payers. I think we need to change that. It would be amazing to see that Indian IP coming up. And we have a huge history of mythology, culture, but don't get restricted by that, right? Like, you keep hearing that, and, everybody wants to build a game which is kind of around mythology and culture when it comes to Indian IP. We are a lot better than that. So, yeah, open your horizons. There's a lot to do.
So for us, I will just share some numbers. We launched the program in 2023. So first year, we received around 340 applications. Second year, we received around 390 applications. This year, we opened the process in September as an official process. And as of now, we have received around 800 plus applications. The volume is huge, so which shows that there's a lot of interest in creating games from India. And I'm very confident in the next 3 to 5 years, we have a lot of triple games from India. So fingers crossed, and best of luck, everyone.
Yeah, actually, I also see the very strong potential for the Indian game incubator. Actually, inside our IGD incubation sheet, we work with like 3 game incubator, including Kraftons, and then actually I saw that like it's also and then as for the IGD incubation sheet, we last year I talked with more than like 10 countries and the local government to make like a letter of support, letter of recommendation, making advice to like making a new game incubation program, and then told them about like what is like a reason for supporting game incubator or something, and then the other IGD incubation sheet, I'm more than happy to support the the persuasion of the local government or the federal government to support more to like game developers the ecosystem in India. Yeah.
I think depending on who's your stakeholder, the KPI for success for an incubator differs. If it's a public sector oriented incubator, I think their focus should be probably on nurturing as many ideation-based gaming entities as much as possible. Because private incubators or industry-led incubators have that limitation, right? So if and of course, as more and more entrepreneurs or gamers can be nurtured across the width and breadth of these public, government-owned or government-funded, government-owned incubators, so that more and more numbers can come in, more and more can hopefully survive. That's the first step. And of course, the play at the government is always how many more jobs can be created, how many more IPs can be created. And from that critical mass, I believe, can industry-led incubators can filter out more and more, so that more and more IPs can be nurtured, AAA games can be made, and governments are more than happy to support the whole value chain, I think. And lastly, I always propone this. As gamers, we always believe that the consumption is only in the domestic. Has anyone thought of government as being a consumer of the games? Think, it's a food for thought. Just to give you a benchmark of a number, the procurement value per year of a small state like Rajasthan is 88,000 crores every year. Now just think about the fact, if one state is procuring 88,000 crores worth of procurement of goods and services, look at the breadth of the nation. So how can you ignore a client such as the public sector, which has massive procurement value, and how can you sell your games or your IPs to the government? That's what I would look at.
Thank you. We're running out of time. Any questions? Oh, nice. Mics, please.
Hello, hi. Very nice informative session. And I agree to the fact that you said anyone can develop a game, but it takes a designer to make a real game that stays with you at the end of the day. And as incubators or as people who run these programs, does the idea of the game matter to you more than the development cycle, or how much does it take to develop the game? And what, according to you guys, is the next big sector or the next big genre that can come out of India as a great game?
Idea is definitely one thing which anybody should look at, because that's the core of what you want to build. And then comes in prototype, where how you are able to replicate your idea into a prototype and whether it is fun to play or not. So idea can be fun on paper, but whether it is fun as playable version or not. So these two validations are very important in that phase. And in terms of genre you ask, so it's really hard to say because there are multiple genres and a lot of famous. India as a market has different requirements in terms of global, different kind of game works here. But that's very difficult to say like which exactly genre to pick. But there are multiple genres, multiple games. And if you play certain kind of games, certain kind of genre and want to make that game, I think you will give your best to make that game. So that's my take.
Somebody else, another question? Yeah. Can you pass the mic, please?
Hello. Thank you, sir, for passing me the mic. Actually, my internet is not working, so I don't have like too many questions, but I have like individual questions for like a ma'am and sir. Like, first of all, like, I'm sorry, Aneesha ma'am. And like you said, that there, like Google is providing a program for Unity program. So why are you not providing for Unreal Engine? Just because like most of the students in now, like they use Unreal Engine. Like they do prefer Unreal Engine over Unity, just because in Unity you have to code a lot of things. You have to maintain like too many scripts, but in Unreal Engine, like it's basically blueprints.
So it's basically a partner we've chosen. It's a partner we've been working with globally, and we've had a long-term association. Also, when we look at a partner, right, we need to see if we have common values in terms of what we need to deliver. So yeah, I mean, it was just that we have a global partner in Unity, and we kind of brought them to India as well.
Okay, thank you. But like, I also personally like prefer Unity over Unreal Engine, just because I find it easier. But like Unreal Engine, like is like, especially when because of Unreal Engine 5, it's like now really into the industry. And my second question is with Anuj sir. Actually, like, I am not sure I should ask it or not, but recently my team participated in TGLF slash JA. Like, it's basically a competition or incubation from like Krafton itself. And we came in second place in that whole competition. And like, we weren't sure like what to do next. Just because they didn't tell us like anything about it.
Put you on the spot.
So basically, I think that's a program which is run by our global studios. Currently, I'm also not aware of it, but probably you can connect with me later on, and then I can help you sort that out.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure, like, should I ask it or not?
But I'm not part of it, so that's why I'm not aware of it. But anyways, I can help you out with that.
Sure, sir. Like, after.
Thank you.
But there's a good Unreal session this afternoon by Arvind, so you should attend this in one
Yeah,
of the
sure.
halls.
Sure, sir. I will attend.
To the next hall. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, we got 2 more questions here.
I had a question about testing vertical slices. I wanted to know what kind of audiences do you guys get, or what kind of measurements do you look at whenever you're testing vertical slices that are developed by the developers?
Yeah, sure. So normally at vertical slice stage, we do user testing. So normally we identify the game, we identify a genre, then we identify what kind of users or what your target audience is. Then we select 8 to 10 users. Then we give the game to play them, and then we get the feedback from them. These are like recorded sessions to we see how the users are playing the game and whether they're getting confused or whether they're able to play the game easily or not. And whether what the expressions are, how they're feeling, whether happy, sad, whatever it is, based on the requirements of the game or based on the requirements we have set with the developers to verify in the playtest phase. So that's how we identify whether the piece of game or the core loop, is it fun to play or not? Whether we should continue the development or not. So these are the decisions which we take at the vertical slice stage, and it helps us and the developer to understand where the gaps are from the real audience perspective. And these are like recorded sessions, so you can see these videos and understand whether it's what's happening and what users are facing through. And normally these users are also picked very carefully, and we understand whether they play these kind of games or not, so they get proper feedback.
Are they qualified by the games they play, or are they qualified as like community leaders of those genres?
So there are multiple parameters which we set: age, genre, gender, their preferences, their lifestyle. There are multiple things which are seen, and then we identify those users.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll actually run out of time. Bye, आपने एक question पूछ लिया यार. हाँ. So closing it, we run out of time. Thank you. Another session starting now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Giving up alu boom in the gulagam idayatil nambi kai pade pom sari tiram IGDC ye krantikari khoon hai ab haar nahi kabool kyunki dil mein junoon hai we never giving up gir ke fir se uthenge kyunki dil mein junoon hai har jeet mein sukoon hai
There is another incubation session after this. Please stay back. Starting right now. Yeah. And that's going to be a really good announcement for the entire industry as well. So stay back to hear what a new era of incubation in India.